It was March 12th, 2026, when Sheriff Chris Nanos dropped a total bombshell on NBC News that should have completely paralyzed anyone tracking this investigation. He openly claimed detectives figured out exactly why Nancy Guthrie vanished from the absolute jump. Right from those initial few hours, that core theory held rock solid through over 40 days of gathering clues, running lab tests, and keeping completely quiet. Meanwhile, federal agents were still canvassing her community, hitting every single doorstep. They grilled locals regarding building crews, nearby laborers, or some shady ride seen cruising via Entrada around 10 o'clock that morning of January 31st. With 46 days passing without suspects or cuffs, an 84-year-old woman remained utterly unaccounted for. Yet the top boss steering this whole probe broadcasted nationwide that he possessed the answers right from the kickoff. Both realities simply cannot coexist the way the public expects, meaning the chief either hoarded vital secrets or he is heavily twisting the definition of certainty here. However, a totally different angle exists, which honestly aligns perfectly with the hard facts. Federal agents put in the sweat, uncovered the proof, and then something got lost in translation between their discoveries and the official press releases. Somebody made a call that completely bled this manhunt of precious, irreplaceable time. Stick around, because over the coming 10 minutes, I will reveal precisely what those federal investigators uncovered inside her residence. You will learn how they were legally handicapped, and why the sheer chasm between those clues and an actual bust forms the true narrative here. For over 50 years, she called the exact same property home, tucked right into the Catalina foothills of Tucson, Arizona. This community rests in the northern desert, boasting massive, peaceful avenues where homes hide deep behind sprawling driveways and lush greenery, forming an organic shield. After dark, vehicles practically never pass through. Locals stayed put for decades, learning their neighbors' daily rhythms, making violent offenses an utterly foreign concept to discuss. That deeply entrenched, generational sense of security is exactly what left her so exposed. Reaching 84 years of age, she literally lacked the physical strength to traverse 50 yards unassisted, as confirmed by the sheriff's official broadcast. A chest implant controlled her pulse. Alongside crucial heart pills, her daughter Savannah openly called the literal key to keeping her alive. There was absolutely no skipping doses or delaying her crucial medical routine. Missing those exact prescriptions would trigger a catastrophic physical collapse within mere hours. Her mind remained brilliant, maintaining personal freedom where it counted. Like tuning into her beloved weekly digital worship streams, she faithfully tracked Savannah's New York parish, firing up video calls right from her sofa to avoid commuting across Tucson. Locals mentioned to the press that her recent outdoor appearances had seriously dwindled, sparking occasional anxiety during her prolonged absences. When the sun set on January 31st, 2026, she shared supper at Annie's place, enjoying simple tabletop games during a wonderfully mundane night meant to fade away, totally forgettable, right up until disaster struck. Shortly after Annie's partner, Tommaso Chillon, chauffeured her back. Security cameras caught her bay opening precisely at 9:48 that night. Shutting firmly by 9:50, Tommaso watched her safely cross the threshold before pulling out, marking the absolute final time her loved ones laid eyes on her alive. By the next dawn, a buddy showed up right on schedule for their usual virtual mass viewing. Nobody answered the bell. Ringing phones hit voicemail, prompting frantic relatives to rush over and scour the entire lot. Right around midday, they dialed 911, bringing cops out by 12:15, who instantly recognized this was no simple case of a lost senior citizen. The crimson stain stood out instantly. Perfect, undisturbed red circles dotted the entryway, plunging straight down in total isolation. Completely devoid of any smeared boot prints, zero empty spaces indicating foot traffic existed amid the splatter. While her smartwatch sat discarded indoors, those vital heart prescriptions sat totally abandoned on the kitchen island, right next to her completely unbothered purse and mobile device. The security lens previously guarding the main threshold had completely vanished, neither smashed up nor covered over. Someone ripped it clean off the exterior at 1:47 after midnight, killing the feed through deliberate, gloved manipulation rather than any electrical glitch. They blindly shoved ripped landscaping into the glass before forcefully prying the whole tech rig right off its bracket. The phantom behind this sported a pitch-black balaclava, dark hand coverings, and pale-toned trousers. He rocked a shadowy coat, hauling a dark, 25-liter Ozark Trail rucksack across his shoulders. A deadly pistol rested in a tactical rig dead center on his breastplate rather than his waist, while his teeth firmly clamped a flashlight to free up his grip. He marched straight into the frame, exuding the chillingly steady composure of a predator who rehearsed this exact nightmare beforehand. Right at 2:12 in the morning, a hidden security lens caught something lurking in the dark. The basic software plan meant no actual footage was saved, yet the time log proved an intruder was prowling. At 2:28 that morning, the wireless link tying Nancy's heart device to her phone vanished. Those connections max out at about 30 feet, so that sudden dead air meant she was already gone. She was hauled into a car and whisked away, all within a terrifying 41-minute time frame, barely 8 minutes following the cardiac monitor's disconnection. A neighbor's doorbell lens spotted an unidentified ride 2.5 miles down the road. From that exact second onward, every physical trace of her simply evaporated without a warning. Meanwhile, crime scene technicians were barely scratching the surface of what those crimson stains out front whispered. The pattern of those vertical splatters ended up guiding detectives straight toward the most crucial clue of the entire manhunt. Federal agents swept the area and unearthed a detail that solved one mystery but simultaneously spawned a truly maddening puzzle. Deep inside the residence, investigators scooped up genetic material that didn't match the victim, her relatives, or known friends. These were cellular traces left behind by foreign intruders lurking indoors during those crucial 41 minutes. And not just one. It was a tangled blend of at least a pair of unknown suspects, all jumbled together in one single swab. The lead sheriff publicly confirmed this on March 12th. During a 2026 broadcast, he admitted that deciphering this complex cellular cocktail might seriously drag on for weeks, months, or even longer. Federal agents quickly tested those strands against the CODIS system. That sprawling government registry houses over 26 million criminal profiles, yet returned absolutely zero hits. Whoever shed those cells inside the elderly woman's living room had avoided prior arrests and managed to stay completely off the radar. These shadowy figures were nameless, yet undeniably real. Fortunately, modern forensic biology can track suspects through their family tree, a brilliant tactic that has successfully cracked much older mysteries. It was the exact same groundbreaking method that unmasked notorious serial predators after 40 years, and successfully nabbed high-profile campus killers in mere weeks. This cutting-edge ancestral mapping completely bypasses the need for a direct criminal database hit. All scientists require is a distant cousin who uploaded their spit kit to an open-source heritage site for solid matching. Federal agents knew exactly which elite laboratory needed this evidence. They filed a formal request but were blatantly denied. Even though they begged to ship those tainted black gloves directly to Quantico's National Crime Lab, that Virginia headquarters boasts the sharpest technological minds, equipped with unparalleled ancestral databases capable of reviving deeply dormant investigations measuring decades in age. Yet the stubborn head of Puma County declined. Instead, the crucial items were shipped off to a private facility located down in Deerfield Beach. That Florida contractor held an exclusive, long-term local partnership. One anonymous federal official warned journalists that this bureaucratic stubbornness was derailing a rapidly ticking clock, while another insider speaking to the media was far harsher. That insider bluntly labeled the decision as completely insane. They predicted agents would eventually have to confiscate the items anyway to restart the entire analysis, wasting precious days that the missing woman simply did not have. The local department had allegedly blown roughly $200,000 outsourcing their work to Florida. Nanos fiercely defended his controversial decision. He claimed he needed every single swab centralized, ensuring the victim's familial markers and other existing profiles could be seamlessly cross-referenced without dealing with jurisdictional chaos. He aggressively pushed back against rumors that he was blocking federal authorities. However, government leaks painted a wildly different picture of the situation. And this biological evidence blunder was hardly the only massive misstep the task force made. After the initial cruisers secured the bloody doorstep, They bafflingly tore down the yellow tape in under 20 hours. Local broadcast journalists waltzed right up to the entryway, capturing high-definition footage of actual crimson puddles staining the concrete, a nationally vital forensic hot zone. The exact physical threshold where an 84-year-old was violently abducted became completely accessible to camera crews before top agents could even run a proper sweep. When grilled later about whether he regretted that operational choice, he confessed that hindsight is 20/20, admitting he probably should have kept the perimeter locked. A veteran New York investigator who now teaches criminology openly criticized the chaotic strategy, noting that the local cops massively screwed up by abandoning the house. Former Deputy Richard Castigar Jr. completely agreed. A bombshell revelation dropped when a retired veteran, sharing decades of history with Nanos, confessed to the Daily Mail that federal agents needed this case 2 weeks prior. He labeled the sheriff an absolute control freak. Meanwhile, back on February 2nd, the sheriff stood before the public insisting everything was perfectly fine and nobody else was at risk. 40 days passed before that infamous NBC News appearance, where he bragged about understanding their motive immediately. He suddenly flipped the script, warning everyone that the attacker was still a massive threat, declaring, "Just because the Guthries were targeted doesn't guarantee your security." One single leader delivered both of these wildly contradictory messages. Trying to make sense of this glaring paradox requires questioning his timeline of intelligence, asking exactly when he learned key details, and figuring out why 40 agonizing days of absolute quiet separated these wildly opposite stances. Blackmail letters started dropping well before Nancy Guthrie became a household fixture. Tucson's Cole News 13 received the initial message via their digital tip line on February 1st, which happened to be the exact same day she officially vanished. More letters followed quickly in succession. Every single document bypassed her loved ones entirely, landing straight in the hands of journalists. They consistently demanded massive cryptocurrency payouts. Yet, whenever their strict deadlines expired, absolutely nothing of consequence actually materialized. Federal Bureau of Investigation lead Hythe Janae openly verified that the alarming messages contained a pair of highly classified secrets that were entirely hidden from the public eye. One major clue accurately pinpointed the exact resting spot of her personal Apple Watch indoors. Another clue explicitly mentioned a couple of shattered security lights hanging by cables out back, completely hidden from any street view and entirely absent from all of the early press reports that circulated before the letter arrived. Police proved both details completely true. Such intimate property knowledge required a trespasser to have physically stood inside her private residence. Authorities treated these threats seriously. However, the tense ultimatums set for February 5th and February 9th simply came and went. Her relatives openly agreed to meet the financial demands. Working alongside federal crisis experts, Savannah Guthrie filmed an emotional plea targeting the shadowy captors head-on. Cameron followed. The usually quiet military aviator released a personal message right as the initial timer expired, directly confronting their massive $6 million crypto ransom demand. The required funds awaited. Yet, the mysterious author, possessing highly guarded secret intelligence about the shattered yard illumination and the precise smartwatch location inside Nancy's residence, completely vanished without ever sending another single word. They provided zero survival evidence, abandoned their directions, and ignored every family plea. The resulting communication blackout felt brutally sudden and terrifyingly absolute. Search teams pulled their detection hounds by day 39. Once day 41 hit. Authorities relinquished the fully processed crime scene back over to her grieving relatives. Hotlines stayed active. Bounties surpassed $1.2 and $2 million. Retired federal supervisor Steve Moore openly declared that the true, unvarnished story belonged exclusively to the unseen perpetrators who actually carried out the deed. He stressed that no hidden bystanders were waiting in the wings, and hard scientific evidence would crack this mystery instead of a lucky anonymous caller. A massive underlying mystery began steadily brewing beneath the surface. Various retired national agents kept dancing around this exact dilemma without explicitly addressing it. Everyone wondered if the sudden radio silence following the payment cutoff signified the obvious tragedy, or pointed toward a completely different nightmare entirely. When retired federal executive John Miller reviewed the case files, he dropped a bombshell theory that mainstream media strangely brushed off as an afterthought. He theorized the operation completely derailed right from the jump, rather than collapsing after the payout timers expired. Disaster struck the exact second they confronted her during the late hours of January 31st. An irreversible catastrophe occurred right then and there. So what actually followed? Those journalist letters, cryptocurrency requests, and cleverly leaked property details were likely just a master illusion designed strictly to hide her premature tragedy, rather than actually facilitating any kind of a safe return. Miller selected an incredibly deliberate term. He suggested the perpetrators retrofitted their messy assault into a hostage situation only after an unfixable disaster completely unfolded out on her front patio. Former federal investigator Jennifer Coffindaffer closely monitored this entire saga from the very first morning it dominated headlines. Between penning online updates and chatting with Newsweek, she conquered national television throughout 41 chaotic days of conflicting police briefings, random developments, and stalled momentum. She consistently delivered the unfiltered truth instead of chasing sensationalized, clickbait-style media headlines. Come March 10th, 2026, she tweeted a brief phrase she completely avoided using throughout her 6 weeks of relentless coverage. Hope was gone. She officially declared the hunting operations finished, but pointedly omitted any mention of actually rescuing her alive. She simply stated the tracking efforts were done. To seasoned federal detectives, those particular words carry an incredibly grim and undeniable weight. Whenever cops officially reject those massive civilian rescue initiatives, sending elite tracking groups like the United Cajun Navy and EC search packing usually implies something far darker than a stalled investigation. Ground searches die the moment detectives uncover the grim reality of a victim's actual whereabouts. You stop hunting through the brush when your case outgrows the need for boots on the ground. Years on the force taught Coffindaffer exactly how to distinguish a dead-end probe from a massive operation quietly brewing behind closed doors. Ex-intelligence operative Tracy Walder tackled that exact same pile of clues from a completely opposite angle. She insisted this hit was incredibly precise, pointing to a stalker obsessed with the property and driven by sheer vengeance against Savannah Guthrie, entirely bypassing her mother. Based on Walder's professional read, Nancy was never the prize, simply serving as the most vulnerable bridge to the attacker's ultimate fixation, being elderly, physically fragile, strictly habitual, and anchored to the same house for over 50 years, made her sitting prey for an assailant hunting someone stationed miles away. According to 3 veteran agents, 3 completely separate investigative methods, all converging on a terrifying truth that absolutely nobody wanted to say out loud, yet every single shred of hard data undeniably backed it up. 46 days after Nancy's heart monitor flatlined at 2:28 a.m., the search party had undeniably morphed into a criminal prosecution. If you have friends obsessing over this mystery who need the brutal truth hidden behind official briefings, share this breakdown immediately, because mainstream news absolutely refuses to air these disturbing details. Detectives aren't just following one trail here. They are aggressively pursuing multiple leads at the exact same time. Every single avenue is mathematically engineered to corner the suspect from totally unique angles. Crime scene genetics are currently getting run through cutting-edge ancestry databases, a method that entirely bypasses the need for prior arrests. They just need relatives. Someone sharing just enough blood to link back to a shared grandparent on sites like 23andMe or Ancestry. Specialists use those fractional matches to construct sprawling bloodlines, filtering down locations, birth years, and looks until one definitive target remains. Barbara Ray Venter, the genius who unmasked the infamous Golden State Killer, warned Network News that this science takes time. While some mysteries unravel in 8 hours, others drag on for 2 solid years. Meanwhile, mobile pinging offers a totally different roadmap. Since any active handset secretly logs its exact coordinates for cops armed with a judge's signature, every gadget, buzzing around the Catalina foothills from the evening of January 31st through the dark hours of February 1st created an unerasable digital footprint. Even though the intruder's radio dodged those network signals, the mystery getaway driver cruising by at 2:36 a.m. likely lit up the grid. That dark Ozark trail bag is strictly a Walmart exclusive. You could buy matching holsters there too. Feds spent weeks tearing through retail logs to track whoever bought that gear prior to the kidnapping, flashing photos of the scabbard at local armories, cash payments still leave an electronic trail behind. Tills capture the exact minute while security footage nails the face. And based on deep dives by true crime networks, a guy named Dominic Evans, reportedly running with Tommaso Cion for 19 years, boasts a heavy rap sheet full of violent break-ins, and insider whispers suggest his frame matches the Bureau's wanted poster almost perfectly. The stature, the bulk, a specific wrist marking, and a distinct finger band. Authorities haven't actually slapped an official target on his back just yet. Those rumors remain entirely speculative right now. The one absolute certainty is Derek Kalla, the grifter busted on February 5th for shaking down the family via fake texts, actually possessed their direct lines. And now his mobile is locked in a government vault. Every saved number, every text sent during that critical window belongs to detectives who just spent 6 exhausting weeks weaving a massive web of cyber evidence. The victim's blue SUV sat locked up in a government garage for over 40 grueling days. Insiders told reporter Brian Enton they weren't just ripping the doors off like they did in the Idaho student murders. A botched software rip completely fried the ride's internal computers during the forensic sweep, demanding a full mechanic overhaul before anyone could drive it away. That vehicle is back on the street, proving federal agents stripped every microscopic clue from the interior and moved this manhunt to the next deadly phase. Here is the terrifying reality this investigation exposes. And taking a beat to fully grasp the situation is crucial, since the implications stretch way past Nancy Guthrie. Anytime an abduction probe brings together local county authorities and the feds, deciding who controls those tangible clues is no mere paperwork issue. It is pure science. The Florida-based DNA Labs International remains a respected operation known for cracking old mysteries through solid analysis. However, the Federal Crime Lab down in Quantico operates on a highly specialized framework, boasting seamless connections to advanced genealogical tracking systems, powerful processing software to untangle complicated genetic mixtures, alongside deep partnerships with ancestral registries that guarantee rapid results. If clues skip that elite system, the analysis still happens but drags on drastically, which is a devastating flaw when the target was an 84-year-old woman relying on a pacemaker and daily heart pills. The insights we gain regarding malicious stalking tactics are just as pointed. That accused prowler scouted NY's estate on January 11th empty-handed, before coming back on January 24th, hitting the property strictly on weekends. Insiders told Brian Enton and Fox News that this weekend's stalking behavior, targeting an isolated senior with set habits in a peaceful area, perfectly matches what experts call extreme preparation paired with picking highly vulnerable prey. That pairing speaks volumes, showing the accused attacker acted with cold calculation rather than rookie panic, while the two-way radio strongly suggests a team effort, assuming Jennifer Coffindaffer got details right, grasping this organized, heavily plotted, group-based dynamic marks the firm line between brushing this incident off as bad luck and seeing exactly why ex-federal investigator Tracy Walder insisted the hit felt entirely intentional. Officers found Nancy Guthrie's vital heart pills untouched near the sink at 12:15 that Thursday afternoon on February 1st, right next to her smart timepiece. Her cellular device stayed right there. No bags were stuffed, and she never walked out willingly, vanishing from her home of 50 years without a single personal item. Lab tests are churning, family trees are mapping out, and mobile signal logs sit ready. Somewhere out there right now, somebody carries the dark truth about those missing 41 minutes. They are sweating as the bounty tops $1.2 million, seeing federal vehicles flood the block endlessly, and weighing if staying quiet is smart. The hotline is 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also drop untraceable hints at tips.fbi.gov. Smash that like button if our deep dive beat the mainstream news. It costs zero effort and lets our team know you want more hardcore investigations. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so we can deliver the breaking updates to you instantly once things shift. For those craving a microscopic look at the forensic clues tied to the main person of interest, including exactly what the federal agents revealed and purposely hid, check out our upcoming breakdown. Since the reality is far darker than the press admits, catch you in the next one. This story is more than a mystery. It is a powerful reminder of how fragile safety can be. Even in the places we trust the most, Nancy lived a quiet life, surrounded by routine, familiarity, and a sense of peace built over decades. Yet, in a single night, that sense of security was shattered, revealing a truth we often try to ignore. Danger does not always announce itself. One of the deepest lessons here is the importance of awareness and responsibility. Communities must look out for one another, especially for the elderly and vulnerable who cannot protect themselves. A missed detail, a delayed decision, or a lack of coordination can cost precious time when every second matters. This case also teaches us about accountability. Systems designed to protect people must act with clarity, urgency, and cooperation. When pride, miscommunication, or control interfere, the consequences can be devastating. But beyond fear, there is also a call to compassion. Behind every headline is a human life, a family waiting, hoping, and hurting. We are reminded to value the people around us, to speak up when something feels wrong, and to never underestimate the power of attention, care, and truth. Because sometimes awareness is what stands between safety and tragedy.